Wake up. It's time to use your mojo. Wake up. It's time to use your mojo.
To have no, I'm looking for of gear. I'm looking along one behind. I'm sorry. The of gear, which war. So it means
a war name.
Yeah, a war name.
So all of these names that these people think are identities are nom de guerre. Now, scholars know this. This is why, like over the years, Dr. G, when sometimes, when we're talking and you would say to me, oh, well, some of them don't know that. I give that to the average people out there. But anyone who claims to be a scholar or teacher, or teaching our young children, because remember, this is because grammar is the basics, right? They know this. Why do you never see them talk like this? Because it would kill their own platform. And the people would recognize clearly that they've been lying. Not just, now look, right? What's this? What's this, Dr. G?
The American Heritage College Dictionary.
Example, all right? So here we go again. Before we go to this, because we're establishing for the record the status
about names.
of these persons held to nom de guerre, the true Americans who are held in nom de guerre, and their estates have been stolen over the years, meaning that they've invented things and benefited from none. They built large temples and were not allowed to enter. They built houses and had no place to lay their heads. They've tilled the field and gone home to hungry families. And they've been calling it racism. This is what it is.
Well, listen.
Go ahead.
Well, before I read this, no, let me read this. What you want me to read? Wardship. In military tenures, the right of the Lord to have custody as guardian of the body and lands of the infant heir without any account of profits until he was 21 or she 16. In sockage, the guardian was accountable for profits, and he was not the Lord, but the nearest relative to whom the inheritance could not descend, and the wardship ceased at 14. In copyholds, the Lord was the guardian, but was perhaps accountable for profits.
Now, all those are held as what?
Minority.
And that's those nom de guerre. And the corporate state don't have to account for what?
Profits.
So that's the theft of the birthright, isn't it? This is not unknown, but rather than tell the people the truth, they will promote the Carlos Linnaeus paradigm to cover up, while themselves claiming to have degrees in these schools and having so-called knowledge of the history here in Africa and everywhere else, right? Why do they not say that? Because it would prove their own compromission and disqualification.
I want to read this since I'm on this page and I see this word. I was having a conversation with somebody today, with Valerie today, and we were passing.
Which one?
Right here. We were passing a place here in Delaware called the Warehouse. It's not just called the Warehouse. It's called the Teen Warehouse. It's called the Teen. And I said to her, what a name to call a place for children, for young people.
None of it's accidental.
Now, here's what a warehouse is. It's called the Teen Warehouse, and it's funded by the city, the state, and everybody else. A place adapted to the reception and storage of goods and merchandise.
Exactly. Their chattel.
The term may include any structure used to hold goods, stores, or wares temporarily or for a length of time.
Now, this is back to Dr. G, as we always talk, right? People who keep claiming to want to educate our people, right, as they keep claiming. People who keep claiming to know the history of indigenous people here. You know why they stay away from these facts? Because it nullifies their 501c3 corporately funded little Indian and Black organizations that they keep telling our people have something to do with their identity that supposedly uplifts them when actually they're all being warehoused on their own land. I.e., the 33-degree Mason said, my people are refugees in their own land. Why? Because he's a Mason. He already know what it really means. It's just that he got frustrated particularly after he recognized after all the so-called marching and praying he done, they're going to bump him off. You know how we say somebody use them up, rape them, and then you discover that you're going to be discarded after all the service. Yeah, right. Now, another point that I'm making, Dr. G, is everything that we're discussing, and this is only, pieces or nitpicks here, pieces here and there. None of this is unknown knowledge. This is what I'm saying to you. Now, the other point that I'm making to you, all organized systems, meaning that all institutional organized systems have an adept chamber. Are we clear? All governments, hear me out. All governments have adept chambers. The functions of adept chambers are dual in purpose. In ministry of international law and acceptance of diplomats and ambassadors, and in institutional operations, it is your higher levels of scholarship for the purpose of choosing or grooming leadership and qualified ministers and acceptance of transactional operations between ministerial diplomats on the planet. Those who know this know that when someone that has any title pretends they don't have this information, this is why over the years, sometimes when you say to me, Dr. G, as I was saying earlier, well, why are you being hard on them? They don't know, because I know they know. Which is why a lot of them don't like me, because I don't play this game with them. And I haven't accepted the payoffs. That's why you see me deliberately living a simple life. I could live quite a luxurious life if I sold out. I'm not selling out. I'm not bragging about it. It's not a point to brag. It's just that it's not in my heart to do so. And I can't sit around looking at my family suffering, recognize suffering I went through, looking at suffering of those who came before me, and keep playing this Negro Indian game of nom de guerre for the hybrid Europeans who are occupying our land and keeping us in schism against each other, because some of our people don't want to admit their bloodline. Because, a lot of times when our people look in our history and seeing that we weren't so perfect, they want to try to claim, like we were pristine, goody, two shoes, indigenous people hugging trees, and then the European came and started messing with us. It ain't like that, so don't play that game. Play that game people don't know. Because if you pay attention, and this is why you always heard me say, Dr. G, when you get into this information or this added information, don't come into this information with a self-righteous attitude, because you ain't innocent. Doesn't mean that you don't deserve the treatment that you've gotten, if you get the point.
Right.
But don't come like you innocent. The other issue is that you can't fix things, whether you're dealing with actual mechanicality, right? Mechanisms, right? Or abstract alchemistry that you call alchemy, that some people who don't understand will call spirituality, meaning the seen and the unseen. But the fundamental principles don't change, if you get the point. Cause and effect is related to reap what you sow. What thou sowest, so shall thou reap. Right? As an example, let me give you something else, like in King Alfred, so that you can recognize that they're well aware of this. I'm just going to read this last part with system analysis, right? With the summary. I'll just read the last part, right? This is from Executive Order 11490. Concept that means they already understand this stuff, right? in order to make meaningful, computerized economic decisions about war, the primary economic flywheel, it is necessary to assign concrete logistical values to each element of the war structure, personnel and material alike. The process begins with a clear and candid description of the subsystems of such a structure. Now, understanding the alchemy of the socialization, which is why often when we're talking, Dr. G, I'll go to things that appear to maybe some people non-linear. They're linear to people who know. They're non-linear to people who don't understand what's going on. So it's related. Are we clear?
Mm-hmm. I gotta grab a book. I gotta grab a book to share with them.
Yes.
You keep talking.
Now, so I qualified with that to talk about, as we're going into this tribute to true Americans, right? We're going to deal with the tribute to the true inventors of American culture. Many of you are well aware of the traditional operations here at Midgard, located in what is called East-West. Because keep in mind, real East starts at the harbor, just between what you would call the Long Island, New York area, and where the Statue of Liberty is in the bay. That's actually true East, just in case some of you didn't know that. That's true. That's the demarcation for true East is actually where the Liberty statue stands in the water in the bay with the torch. Now, again, one of the reasons why I had Dr. G read Wardship, which is Wardship Tenures, and also in relationship to the to the Heritage Dictionary. This is so that you all can go and make reference yourselves, etc., so you can know what people who've been claiming among your so-called leaders, who have all these scholarship certificates given to them, whether corporately or by their club members, what they know, but what they're not, haven't been talking. So don't think that they're so innocent or that they don't know this, because all scholars know this. The masses have not known this, and because the masses have trusted their so-called leaders, they don't question them, and they don't give you reference for research so that their organizations don't collapse, and they can get paid by you and paid by the system. And this is why this crap has continued. People need to know that they're under control. This is why, as the people are awakening now, while you have so much censorship, soon as you say something that's what they call not politically correct, they attack you on multiple levels. What's happening is that they're being unmasked. That's what you must know. And we've told you a few years back that all masks are off. That's why we told you